For today's video, I'm going to be doing something totally different. I'm going rogue. We're going to talk about one of my other passions in life aside from hair, and that is Real Housewives. So since the newest season of Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 14 just started, I was like, you know what, let me just start here. Let me just start now. Real Housewives of New Jersey is my favorite of all of the franchise. So like I'm totally in my bag with this video. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, please take a moment to subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into it now. So here we go. Let's talk about it. I have my notes here. Today we are recapping the first episode of the new season. Okay, so I find this season's cast to be interesting because we have 7 girls or like main characters in total. Melissa Gorga, we have Rachel Fuda, Margaret Josephs, Dolores, Jen Aiden again, Danielle, not Danielle Staub, although that would be iconic to bring her back in my personal opinion, but the other Danielle, and of course the Queen Teresa. Now let me just say, yes, I am biased. I know that a lot of people on the internet and a lot of people in the Real Housewives universe hate Teresa. Like, she's a villain. I always liked the villains. In Real Housewives, I tend to gravitate toward the villains. And even like when I watched Game of Thrones, Cersei was my favorite and everybody hated her too, but she was my favorite. Why I gravitate toward villains, I think has to do with the fact that they add some spice to the show. I can do a whole deep dive on Teresa and why she makes for such great reality TV. She is a reality TV legend. Say what you want about her, I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, Teresa is gonna get her check, and she is who we tune into watch every week on Real Housewives, and she is the reason why the majority of the other cast is pressed. Like, they're fucking pressed, okay? So yeah, that's the cast for this season. But then we also have Jen Festler, who is like a friend of the show, and then we have Jackie, who is also a friend of this season, but she's been on the main cast before. So opening the show, we have Melissa and we have Teresa sending their girls off to college, Antonia and then Gabriella, respectively. And then we cut to Rachel Fuda. I try to give people chances, and literally I can't tell you what Rachel's storyline was. Like, I just have zero interest in her. She hasn't given me anything. A lot of times we are going to gravitate toward like the OG people in the cast, but also it's like, Rachel, what's your tea? What's your deal? Why are you here? So we open up to her having like a family barbecue at her house, right? And she's like giving her little life update. My parents moved an hour and a half away, blah, 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 whatever. We're having a barbecue today, something like that. So she mentions that her daughter, who I believe is maybe around 2 years old or so, that she has a tongue tie, and they play like this ominous music, like this dramatic music while she's talking about the fact that she's like, oh, my daughter has a tongue tie and I'm gonna do whatever I can to like figure this out. And this is more shade toward production, if anything, because it was just funny to me how they're playing like this like ominous like dramatic music when she's talking about her daughter's tongue tie, as if it's not just like some simple basic outpatient little surgery, if you want to even consider that, procedure that you can go get done in 2 seconds and leave. When you have babies, you're more sensitive to whatever issues that they might have, big or small. Like, I can't even be in the doctor's office when my kids get shots. Like, I can't do it. My husband comes with me, and if they need to get vaccines, then I just exit the room and I wait, and my husband holds them and does all that, and I just like wait on the outside because I cannot stand for my kids to it breaks my heart to see them get a vaccine, so I avoid it. But also, it was just like, really, production, really, bitch, you're really gonna play this like dark ominous music when her daughter has a tongue tie, and Rachel's all like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to figure it out and whatever. So I was just laughing at production for that, like the editors or whoever did that. But then also I was thinking to myself, like, is she trying to make that like a storyline or part of a storyline? Like, she's just like really like pulling, like she's really pulling whatever she can, like, my daughter has a tongue tie. So anyway, they're at the table. Rachel is telling everybody, specifically Nona, how she is going to be throwing a party for Jen Festler's birthday. They're throwing a surprise party. She's working with Jen Festler's husband. They're organizing it. Rachel was mentioning like, well, yeah, I did invite Jen Aiden and Teresa. And Nona was like, nose job, Jen? And I was just thinking to myself, no, Nona, I don't know if she was being shady or not, because you know how all people can be. But I was like, Nona, girl, how can you with a straight face talk to Rachel Fuda talking about like, oh, nose job, Jane Aiden, when Rachel is sitting there with that nose job? I know that sounds mean, but I'm just saying, I just thought it was funny. Like, girl, the audacity. Although I will admit, but she did go get a nose job, which it's not my body, it's not my choice, but I just didn't like, I don't like when people like change their faces too much or change. I don't believe in like unnecessary, in my irrelevant opinion, to their bodies. I just don't believe in like doing all this stuff to your body. And like with Jen Aiden, when she got that first nose job in Turkey, I was very disappointed because I actually like her and her nose looked freaking crazy. She's had it fixed since then. She had, in my opinion, just like a beautiful, perfect Turkish nose. I loved her nose before. Like, her nose is beautiful, in my opinion. Then when she got that hack job in Turkey, I was like, girl, like her nose literally looked like, have you guys ever watched Problem Child, when Junior, he switches up the surgery charts and then he ends up making his like would-be stepmother go under an unnecessary nose job surgery? Like, it was giving that, but a little bit worse. But she's had it fixed since then. But anyway, so yeah, Rachel Fuda mentions to Nona that she's like, yeah, well, we're throwing this party for Jen Festler. And even though I kind of have beef with Teresa and Jen Aiden, I like invited them anyway, just, you know, as a what is it called? As like a, what the fuck is that word called? Not a pleasantry. Oh my god, Brittney, come on. As a it was a technicality. Remember that? Okay, you know what I mean. Just as a cordial, as a courtesy invite. I guess Jen Festler would have wanted her to be there. Well, yeah, Jen Festler. So I'll get to that. Cut to Melissa and Antonia getting packed and ready for Antonia to go off to college. I love seeing the Real Housewives kids grow up. It warms my heart. I feel like they're auntie in their head, even though they have no idea that I exist. It really warmed my heart seeing Antonia growing up, getting ready to go off to college. But I do want to mention something. I feel like the scenes with Melissa and Antonia, her daughter specifically, come across, they make me very uncomfortable. I don't know, their dynamic on camera is just so like weird to me. Like, I don't know, I just don't like it. In Melissa's talking head, in her little confessional, she does mention to producers that she doesn't want to answer any questions about Teresa this season. And the bad blood that has been going on for like 12 out of 14 seasons at this point between Teresa and her brother has like reached a boiling point, and Melissa is saying she doesn't want to answer any more questions about Teresa anymore. But that, like, for me begs the question, so what is your storyline gonna be this season, girl? You've been hanging on by a thread. You've been hanging on by a thread for about 10 seasons now. These have been Melissa's storylines, okay? First, it was, you're coming in hot, you're you know, Teresa's younger, hotter, richer sister-in-law. You guys have like that whole family drama, whatever. But then your own personal storyline has been that you were becoming a singer, which didn't go anywhere. Then your storyline has been that you are opening your Envy boutique, which I hear is doing very well. And so I guess that was like her most prominent storyline. And then another storyline of hers was that she was, I guess a psychic told her that maybe she has a long lost sister. And so that dragged out for a whole season, and I guess it turned out to not be true. Another season, allegedly she was considering having another baby. That dragged out for the whole season. Her storylines have been the undertone of not getting along. Like, not getting along with Teresa has been her main storyline. So I'm curious to see this season. It's like, oh, you don't want to talk about Teresa? Fine, fair enough, whatever. But it's like, okay, so what are you gonna give this season? Like, what are you gonna give? Then we cut to Teresa with Gabriella packing and getting ready to go to college. And of course, again, I am such a proud auntie seeing Gabriella getting ready to go off to college. Say what you want about Teresa, but one thing that has always stood out to me is I feel like she is an excellent mother from what we can see on camera. She respects her daughter's wishes. She respects her daughter's boundaries. In my opinion, just as a mom, as a woman, let me tell you guys this. As a mom and as a daughter, okay, you can always tell somebody's character by what kind of parent that they are. I don't care about like your whatever issues you have, your traumas, your blah blah blah. Like when you become a parent, okay, you can tell what kind of person you are or what kind of person anybody is by their dynamics with their kids and what kind of parent that they are. Okay, it says a lot about a person. And so the fact that she has a very strong bond with her daughters, like her, you could just tell. If anything, you have to admit that she's a good mom, right? Right. We cut to Jen Festler. She has no idea that this whole surprise birthday party is happening, and then Marge comes to visit her, and Marge asks her, you know, oh, do you want to like go to dinner on Tuesday or whatever? And Jen's like, oh, okay, I guess, not knowing that it's going to be a whole surprise birthday party. Margaret, she is saying how she is going through a like kind of like a late stage, if you will, like a delayed grieving period, ever since her ex-husband Jan passed away, which I totally understand. Before I had kids and like I was forced to sit my ass down, I was always like, go, 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 like with everything, whether it's like work, starting a business, or else going out, like whatever it was, like I was always like, go, 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 go. And I think that a lot of times for me, I was like avoiding a lot of like emotions and trauma. And so I totally understand that mindset or that the experience of like having like a delayed grieving process because you're constantly on the go. And then finally, when you have a moment to like sit down and be within your thoughts, then it hits you all of a sudden. So I totally empathize with her in that situation in particular. Jen Festler, she must have asked about like, okay, so how are you and Teresa doing? And Marge is like, I want absolutely nothing to do with Teresa. We hired a private investigator, and like Louis called my stepson. I don't even want her to utter my name. Jen Festler, she is potentially going to like mediate whatever issue they might have had. And Marge just tells her, no, don't do that. Don't even talk to her about me. Like, don't even utter my name to Teresa. And I felt like that was like so deep. And so Jen was like, I'll respect your wishes. I won't do that. But Teresa has been nothing but lovely to me. I just felt that so deep when Marge said that. Like, I have felt that about a person where it's like, erase me from your memory. Like that Men in Black pen where it's like, forget you ever met me, bitch. I don't want you to know that I exist. Don't even utter my name. I don't want anybody to utter my name around this bitch because I want this bitch to forget that she ever met me. So Jen, being the great friend that she is, she says, okay, I won't mention it to Teresa, not to worry. I'll respect your wishes and your boundaries. And by the way, Jen Festler looks great. She had mentioned that she got like, I think she did a nose job and a facelift, and whatever she did, it looks good. It doesn't look crazy. I am not against surgery. If that's what you want to do, your body, your choice. But I love plastic surgery when it looks natural. Like you still look like yourself, but better. And I feel like Jen Festler has that. And also her hair is really good. Okay, so next we cut to Dolores, and she's still with Paulie, her boyfriend, who is still married. I like Dolores. I feel like Dolores is somebody that I would like in real life. You know what I mean? So here she is now with her Irish boyfriend, Paulie. I think this is his second or third season, I forget. They're boyfriend and girlfriend, but he and his wife have been separated for 10 years. I don't recall off the top of my head what like his reasonings exactly for not divorcing his wife. But I know that there are reasons why people separate, but then they legally stay married. Marriage is a legally binding contract. It's not just about like, oh, we're in love or whatever. Like, this is a legal thing. It's not just about that. There might be reasons, mainly monetary reasons, as to why they have not divorced yet. Or there might be emotional reasons too, where they're just, either party is just simply not ready yet to sign those papers. Whatever the case, he's still legally married. And of course, the question on everybody's mind for Dolores is, when are you guys gonna get married? When are you guys gonna get married? So I definitely feel for Dolores, which like I get, especially because they are a certain age. I feel for the girl. I'm sure she goes to like parties and family events with her guard up. Like, who's gonna ask me when we're getting married. It kind of reminds me of like the second I got married, people were like, oh, are you guys having a baby? When are you guys gonna have a baby? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Not knowing that, like, damn bitch, I was trying to get pregnant for like, well, I guess it wasn't that long, but I was like, I had a miscarriage that I didn't go around telling people. And after that, I was trying to get pregnant for like a year and a half, which I also didn't go around telling people. And it's like, damn, I can't even go to fucking a 4th of July picnic and eat a hot dog in peace without this bitch asking me, or whoever asking me, like, are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you pregnant? And I got to the point where I was like, are you pregnant? Are you? Oh, I thought you were. Don't ask people when the fuck they're having a baby or if they're pregnant. And also don't constantly ask somebody, when are you guys getting married? When are you guys getting married? Bitch, mind your business. Okay, like, this is my life, this is my timeline. Okay, sorry, I'm like ranting on behalf of Dolores because this is like such a triggering thing for me. Does Dolores even want to get married? Like, I don't know. But then later on the show, she does mention that she does want to get married. Anyway, so she goes out to dinner with Louis and with Teresa, and of course Louis has to make a joke about like, oh, so when are you guys getting married? And on that note, let's talk about Louis. I love Teresa. I want the best for her. I think she makes for great reality TV. But girl, I want her to have her happily ever after and all this stuff. But there is something about Louis that is like slimy to me, but I can't put my finger on what it is. If she likes it, I love it. They have seemed to, like, you know, blend their families together nicely, but there's something about him that I do not trust. He's creepy. And who knows, it could just be editing or something. Like, you don't know how somebody is in real life. And I've seen glimpses of him on social media and even on the show too, where I'm like, okay, he seems cool, he seems normal, but then there's like that underlying intuition that I have where I'm like waiting for the other shoe to drop, where I'm like, what is it? What is it about you? And also, like, do we know what Louis does for a living exactly? How do you afford your lifestyle? And I think I saw like a TikTok or a video of him saying, I'm gonna clear 70 million this year. And it's like, doing what? 70 million as if that's like your take home or what? So Dolores and Polly, Teresa and Louis are all out to dinner. And Teresa says that like everybody else on the cast had like a meetup, I think at Rachel Fuda's house, to talk about the upcoming season, like before they started filming. I guess Frank Catania had told Louis that they all had gotten together and they basically wanted to come up with a plan to like take Teresa down. This could be true, this could be not true. I think that they did get together. I don't know what the intention of the meeting was. Like Dolores said, playing devil's advocate, she was like, you know, like it could just be like a meeting of the mind. Towards the end of the episode, we get to the big birthday surprise party for Jen Festler. Jen, Aiden, and Teresa arrived together on the car ride. They mentioned how there has been like a rumor about Rachel Fuda's husband, John, that I guess he was like one of the biggest drug dealers in Bergen County, and that also he has like some sort of that has to do with like a double-sided that's purple, very specific. It shows a clip of him having drinks with the guys at the bar, like making a joke about it, like, okay, so apparently there's a rumor about how like I like to play around with a double-sided purple. Look, and the thing is, like, do you, but I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I don't believe in like kink shaming within reason. If something like that, it's like, okay, like that's your thing. I don't know. I feel like it's harmless. I had an intuition that it was like one of those things. Let me make the joke about myself before anybody else says it, so that way it doesn't like hurt me. Do you know what I mean? That's the conversation before Teresa and Jen arrive at the party. They show Danielle arriving to the party. I must have missed the part where Danielle and Rachel, because like I could have sworn at the reunion they were like, you know, having fighting words. They're friends now, they're getting along famously. This is like Jen Festler's party, and I'm sure there were other conversations going on, but like you cut to each individual person and they're like, Teresa's coming, Teresa's coming, Teresa's gonna be here. For people who claim to be so unbothered and unconcerned with Teresa, like, you guys sure are freaking pressed like a panini. Teresa and Jen Aiden arrived to the party, they gave some awkward hellos, and it breaks my heart when Joe Gorga, Teresa's brother, is sitting at the bar. Teresa and Jen walk in, they say hi to everybody, and Joe and Teresa don't even say hi. That breaks my heart. I feel like that is such a fucking shame. How did it get to this point? Don't get me wrong, I do feel like when it comes to toxic family members, I totally believe in going no contact. Okay, so I want to put that out there, but I also still, there's something in me that I'm like, that is a fucking shame over things that have come about over a freaking reality show. I can't ever picture being like, we're gonna go to the same event with our mutual friends, like we still have mutual friends and whatever, we're still in the same circle, and I'm not gonna say hi to you. Both of their parents have passed away. They don't have any other siblings. Like, they have a very, 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 very small family. Like, they are all that they have left aside from their children and their spouses. And before you guys come at me about like, oh well, Teresa, she's a narcissist, girl, I will do a deep dive all about the Gorgas, all about Joe Gorga and Melissa Gorga and where they went wrong, because they are not innocent, sweetheart. Quiet as it's freaking kept. And I was fooled. I was fooled too. I've been watching Real Housewives of New Jersey since season 1 in 2008. Okay, we go way back. I know about all the tea. Like, I've seen the early episodes. Like, I've watched them over and over. I've rewatched the series over and over. In the beginning, I thought the same way that you do. And then years later, as I matured, as things unfolded, I noticed things that I didn't see before, and I started connecting the dots, and I was like, this is bigger than just Teresa's jealous of her sister-in-law. This is bigger than that. So Teresa and Jen have a few other awkward hellos, and it's just like awkward. Jen Festler arrives, surprise, happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. So then John, Fuda, and then Paulie, Dolores' boyfriend, get into it over Louis. Paulie is still friends with Louis. Paulie feels like they need to just sit down and talk about this over like coffee. And then in another clip, Teresa is talking to Rachel. So they get into it over the fact that allegedly Louis hired a private investigator to kind of like just get the scoop on like the individual cast members. Rachel's like, oh, John, like come over here. Like, come on, John, like come talk to Teresa. Teresa's like, I'm not gonna talk to him about this, which honestly I respect. Like, I just feel like, bitch, like I'm not about to fight with your husband. Like, I'll fight with you. I'll argue with you, but I'm not about to freaking fight with a fucking man over like some stupid shit. Some things like you have to be above. I'm literally not gonna argue with your husband. Okay, bitch. That's when like John starts yelling at Teresa, and Teresa's like, bye, I'm gonna walk away, and John's like, bye, like you're a has-been. And I just had to laugh at that, because it's like, John, who is you? Where did you come from? Nobody knows who the fuck you are. Your wife is a main character on a reality show, and nobody even knows who she is either. Like, we don't know her, girl. And you're over here talking about Teresa. She's a pop culture icon. How dare you come on her show and then talk about how she's a has-been? Bitch, you never were. We don't know you. And then you have the audacity to come on the show as a husband of, and then try to like show out as if you are one of the housewives. You're fighting with a girl like you're one of the housewives. And furthermore, like, I really love how you were here one season, then you came back and you like got all this like lipo and veneers, and like you did all this stuff because you were really like, okay, like I'm gonna be on this show, like I need to have a glow up. Like, that to me is like, you really think that you're a housewife. You're not. The audacity is just amazing to me, honestly. That's how it ended. So that's where we're at. So episode 1, I know this is a long recap, so bear with me, and also keep in mind that this is my first time doing a video like this. And so in the future, like the next time I film, they will be hopefully a lot more condensed, because I will hopefully slowly but surely get the hang of my Real Housewives commentary. So yes, that is it for this video. If you have not already subscribed, please take a moment to subscribe. And that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You guys will see me in my next. Bye.